Welcome to Staying Sweet, the podcast. Tune into my weekly podcast to hear me, Alice Bradley, delve deeper into building your personal brand, up-level your mindset and tap into your highest potential using what makes you, you, all while staying sweet, of course. Whether you're looking to level up within an existing business, start something of your own, or create a fulfilling, balanced and healthier lifestyle, each episode will be curated especially to inspire and encourage your own success. Plus, don't miss out on the Staying Sweet specials, a series of exclusive interviews and conversations with Alice's network of entrepreneurs and brand owners. Don't forget there are new episodes every Monday. If you enjoyed the podcast, please do leave a rate and review. For more daily content, check out @Staying Sweet Podcast over on Instagram. Stay sweet. Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Staying Sweet. I am really excited for the final episode, guys, of 2022. Can you believe it? It is the end of 2022, one of the wildest, craziest years for me personally. So much growth, so much travel, so much abundance in new opportunities and new alignments, and I'm just feeling the highest vibration today, and I just had to sit down and record a bonus episode of the podcast before the new year gets well underway. So I'm so glad that you're listening whenever you decide to enjoy this episode, whether it's actually on New Year's Eve when this episode is going live or in the first week of January. I just hope whatever you're doing, whatever you're feeling super aligned and ready to take action for this amazing, incredible year that we have for 2023. I feel really great, and it definitely feels like a full circle moment to have started Staying Sweet in 2022 and to be sitting here in December, the final few days before the end of the year, feeling an enormous amount of gratitude for how far this podcast has come, the new audience that I'm growing and nurturing and attracting into my life, and a community that I have been building over the past year. I'm so grateful to you all listening. And I just really wanted to round the, I guess not the series, but the year off with a lovely episode on the lessons that I have learned this year. And I thought I would do something really chilled and lighthearted and fun and do 22 things that I've managed to, align with myself and lessons that I have learned along the way. So that's what today's episode is going to be about. I just wanted to, just round the year off with a really fun episode for you guys. So just to kind of catch you up, give you some updates on my Christmas. It was a very low-key, cozy Christmas, and I really feel like this year was a year to just slow right down. And I know that sounds kind of ironic because I've been here, there and everywhere traveling, but I really felt like my body was telling me slow down, like you really need to take this time just to do nothing. And there was just a lot of resistance in other areas of my life that were telling me to slow down. So I really wanted to do Vlogmas this year and wasn't able to do it, unfortunately, just because of my traveling and also my laptop not working. I feel like I mentioned this in the last episode or one of the last episodes, but my laptop is still broken, guys, and it's going to be fixed in January. I'm really excited for that to happen so that I can get the ball rolling and start editing again. I've really missed editing vlogs and YouTube content. Obviously I've been able to edit my podcast content, but that's been able to do on another computer, so there's no issues with the podcast, thank God. But I have had some issues with my video content, so that's been a lot slower. I've also found myself not really being as present on Instagram just because I've just really felt the need to slow down, and I feel like this time is inspiration time and gathering all my research, looking into my goals, doing a lot of inward work and getting myself organized. And I guess one of the updates I think for the past week or so has been the importance of just tidying things up before starting new tasks. Like, I have so many tasks I need to finish, and clearly that is what the universe is telling me to do, to sort those things out, get those things well underway before trying to take on new things. Guys, the new year is all about that, tying up loose ends and getting ready to start a fresh new year. But yeah, I feel really excited. I feel really ready, but also because I've been gathering so much information and swatting up and going back and revisiting my vision boards and pinning to the high heavens on Pinterest, I just feel like I have been in inspiration overload. And yeah, one of the tasks that I've really been doing is just taking inspiration from as much content as possible. So I've really just been watching and observing and mapping out trends, looking at where I want this podcast to go in the new year, getting myself ready to hit the ground running. And I think sometimes you really have to do that, and the new year is a great opportunity to do so. So yeah, that's really been my update for this period. I hit the gym today, so I'm feeling, again, really, really hyped up and just aligned with where I need to be. I feel like the last few days I've missed the gym so much because it was an extra day that it was closed due to it being over a weekend. So those 2 extra days of the gym closed, I just kind of felt like, oh my gosh, I need to get out, I need to get moving, I need to get my body moving. And I did a 12-3-30. The gym was packed, by the way, so I could actually only get on the treadmill, which is a bit of a shame, but I did the treadmill, I did 12-3-30, did a small run, and then I trained abs. And honestly, it felt incredible just to move my body and to, yeah, just be thinking about new ideas and new flows and just, yeah, hype myself up for the end of the year. I love this period, guys. After Christmas and before New Year, this is when I do my most hustle, and it's because it's a really slow and steady pace and I don't feel the pressure that I need to be working. I just love to use it as an opportunity to get excited for the next year. Plan, open drawers in my room that I've been, just shoving things in and hoping and praying for the best that it will close. Just going, right, we're going to tackle that cupboard today. And it's just so cathartic. I love it so much. So I wanted to start this episode with a quote, and I found this quote, guys, and I feel like it just rings so true for the end of the year. It's a really nice, motivational, but also kind of cringy quote. Like, we love a cringy moment sometimes. It says, 12 new chapters, 365 new moments, and so the adventure begins. I added that bit at the end, and so the adventure begins, because I want to get you excited for the adventure of 2023. And yeah, in doing so, I feel like we need to recap. We need to think about the lessons that we've learned. We need to think about how we can align ourselves ready for the new year. I've got 2022. I've got 22 lessons to share with you from this year. So I guess without further ado, we're going to run through them. And I really, really hope you enjoy this episode, guys. So when I sat down to think about the things that I was going to talk about today, initially I thought, how am I going to think of 22 lessons that I've learned? This number just grows and grows and grows. But honestly, there is so much to talk about. And I feel like this year has just been the hugest supply of lessons going. It's been an intense time for many, but also I think in terms of the lessons that I've been presented with, I feel like they're lessons that I needed to go through in order to come through stronger, grow, realign with my purpose. I think my purpose was kind of wavering. So in just going through these different difficulties this year, I've really come out much, much stronger and much more self-assured of who I'm supposed to be and where I'm placing myself and the reasons really behind this podcast. And I think this year I've been able to consistently share my voice and show up as myself, and I think that's the most important thing, always staying true to yourself. So let's share the 22 lessons that I've learned this year. So number 1, and by the way guys, this is in no particular order, these are just 22 things that kind of rolled off the tongue, and came to mind whilst I was doing this little exercise. But the first one was stop looking at what life should look like and actually focus on what is presented in your life now. Gosh, this is a big one, and I'm not going to jump too deep into this because I feel like you can go anywhere with this, but just staying true to your plan and God's plan or the universe's plan for you is the only way you're ever going to be happy and really, really feel like you are happy. Because if you start comparing and observing other people's lives too much, you will never see the happiness in the everyday that you are presented. And I feel like the grass is always greener. It's always going to be greener, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it is green. It literally might just be astroturf that somebody's got lying down on their ground, and you've got actual real grass that is going through real things and real life experience. So never compare. And guys, that's so easier said than done. Like, I'm guilty of it all the time, but try and avoid excessive comparison, because that's where you'll feel super out of alignment with yourself, and I feel like you'll put unnecessary pressure to be a certain person and show up as a certain person when in all fairness it might not be true to you. And I think that's what happened to me in the middle of the year. I was trying so hard to be and create content that I didn't want to create, and I felt like I had to because it was the only way to grow and to get my content seen, and I just had enough. And just stopping it, okay, my page wasn't growing in the same way, but I am so much happier than, doing something that feels out of alignment with myself. So yeah, stop looking at what life should look like. Start focusing on what you have in your life. Number 2 is lean into your creative cravings. Now, I say it as a craving because I feel like I look at things that I really wanted to do at the beginning of the year, and they're not appealing to me as much as they did when I did them, and that's okay. But just going with the gut instinct to want to draw or paint or write or do something that you've never done before. Maybe it's a hobby that you have done but you've been neglecting. So feel the craving and act on it as soon as you can, really, because I feel like it enables you to develop your creativity. So if that's painting, if it's reading certain books, if it's taking up a hobby, when you feel the pull, go with the pull, don't ignore it. Often that's your inner child, calling for some nurturing or calling for you to kind of re-tap back into your inner child. Number 3 is removing your presence from social media really is healing. Now, guys, I've said it a couple of times on the podcast. I took 2 months off Instagram and social media, and it did me the world of good. I realized how much effort I was putting in to sharing myself being happy when I actually wasn't really feeling very happy. So if you need to step away, you can do it. You're allowed. You have to prove it to nobody. You don't have to have a reason. If it doesn't feel right, if you don't want to be there right now, don't show up, and that's okay. And I know that's hard if you're a business owner or you're someone with a personal brand and you're growing something. I totally understand, but at the end of the day, I took 2 whole months off and my business is still alive and I'm still getting work in. So it's not the end of the world. It's just going to shift things slightly. But if you feel like you need to do it, if you need to get yourself back on track, take the time off. Number 4 is exercise daily to boost your mood and focus. Now, this doesn't need to be a strenuous workout. This could be a morning walk, this could be a lunchtime walk, this could be something on the treadmill, this could be a small arm session or a Chloe Ting workout. I know sometimes people think that she's really controversial, but I really don't think she is. I think she's got great, short and sweet 10-minute videos that you can get done in your lunch break. Like, do a little ab exercise when you're working from home. Just move yourself, shift the energy, and you will find yourself much more aligned and focused. Number 5 is say yes when it feels right. I cannot emphasize this enough. If it feels like the right decision and it might not benefit others, or it's, a selfish decision, say yes anyway. Like, ultimately you're nurturing you and you're progressing for you. So if something feels in alignment, say yes. Go with your flow, go with your gut instinct. Number 6 is focus on what is going right in your life. Now, It's very easy to forget all the things that are going right when you've had a crappy day or something goes wrong, or there's often these things that come about in life that completely knock your confidence and make you forget how good you are at something or how good your life actually is. It's all about perspective. You just have to take those small things and those situations, even if it's a big situation, and kind of pack it into a box and say, this is one thing out of many good things that have happened in my life. So perspective is really where you want to sit on that one. And you can have life altering things happen to you, but it's all about how you react and how you take a negative and put it into a positive and just progress from that experience. Number 7 is take the chance, you might grow. So again, this kind of goes into the pull of saying yes, but I feel like sometimes things are they're kind of more murky water and we're not really sure. And when we're not sure, we can often lean towards saying no to something because we might not feel like we're good enough. We might have imposter syndrome. I think in those instances, what is the worst that can happen? You show up to a job or you accept a job and you haven't got all the skills, but it would help you grow. The growth is more important than the skill set that you already have. If you're already good at something, it's not going to be something that's going to elevate you in any way. In fact, it's probably going to hinder you and keep you in the same position that you're in at the moment. So always look at what you can do to grow from a situation, and particularly when you're taking on a job or maybe starting in a new position or being promoted, think about how that's going to elevate you, and that is how you pitch yourself. You don't want to be somebody who is already good at that thing, like to a T, because you're going to be doing it half-assed. You're not going to put effort into it. You're not going to want to get it right. You're just going to expect that, I have the skills for it. I'm knowledgeable. It's instantly going to work out for me. And actually that's when people make sloppy mistakes. And, if the effort's not there, it shows. So definitely take the chance when you can. You will grow from it, good or bad. I think people just have this fear mentality that it's going to go wrong. And if it goes wrong, there's always chance to grow. Number 8 is, what are you waiting for? If the opportunity presents itself, go and do it. Again, I feel like this is the saying yes and the umming and ahhing on taking a chance, but sometimes we wait for things to be the right time. And I guess this kind of links back to number 1 as well, this stop looking at what other people are doing in their life. And I think sometimes we look at other people's lives and we think, oh, I probably shouldn't do that now because I'm too old to be doing it, or should I be moving on from taking these types of opportunities? This is your journey, this is your adventure. At the end of the day, what are you waiting for? Don't listen to other people's advice necessarily. Some people do have good advice, but if somebody is just giving you the negative, you don't need to take that advice. You can just try it out, see if it works for you. Number 9 is, if someone makes you feel shit after spending time with them, then they're not right for you. And this goes for everything. This goes for friendships, relationships, co-workers, anyone and anything. If somebody makes you feel so out of alignment with yourself or emotionally drained or like your cup is empty, that person is no longer right for you. And you have to really think about why that is. And, you don't have to cut people out dead. Don't get me wrong, been there, done that. But you can fade people out. You can fade those relationships. And I think that kind of leads me on to number 10, which is, don't take fading relationships to heart too much equally, because I think it's impossible to do life and keep in contact with everyone and anyone. Relationships will naturally fade in and out. You will ebb and flow in life. You will come back to people. You will meet people again. And if they're meant to be in your life, they will resurface and they will come back. But don't feel the pressure that every single relationship you've ever had, every single friendship has to stay the same forever, because they might be a different person and you might not actually be a good fit for them as much as, things feel equal. And you might find in the future you want to re-nurture the friendship again, and always keep the door open, but don't take it to heart. Don't take it as, oh my gosh, this person's evil, or I can't believe they cut me out, or they've stopped hanging out with me, or stopped making time. Think about how busy your day is. Do you have time for them? Like, it goes both ways, so don't take it to heart. Number 11 is find your way to organize. Now, it took me so long to learn how to learn, and guys, I'm going to go back to school here, and actually we had a class in year 7 and 8 which was called Learning to Learn, and ironically we weren't really allowed to put those things into play. We were forced to learn a certain way, which is quite ironic, but I think the premise was there that not everyone is going to learn and work well in the same way. So in your adult life, actually give yourself some time to work out how you learn and how you work at your best. You know, some people work better at night, some people work better at their desk at home, some people work better in the office. Think about where you do your best work and nurture that environment. Make that environment work for you. And for me, I think I get very het up when my immediate environment is messy, or when I can't see a calendar. So I've got like printables that I take every single month, and I can literally see 2 of them right now for December and January. And if I can see my diary, when people message me or when I'm doing work and somebody emails me and says, you know, are you available on this day? I can quickly check my diary. I feel really organized. When I can't see those things, I get very stressed and I feel out of alignment. So just having things organized your way is going to make you work so much better, work smarter, not harder, guys. That goes without saying. I think sometimes as well, when you have worked out how you like to organize your life, it's quite easy for yourself to find, or not be able to find, those things available. So you might like a specific structure or a specific way of, you know, organizing your life. Create it, literally create it. You have the power now to create anything you wish. Canva is a great resource. There were a lot of things that I like to do for my organization and my planning and my goal setting that don't exist. What did I do? I made them on Canva, and now I print out my own printables, which, let me know, guys, if you'd be interested in printables for 2023. I'm thinking of doing it, and I think it would be a really fun thing to kickstart the new year. But I think people have their own flow, and I have my own flow, and in making my own printables, I've been so much more organized. Also as well, everything's in my brand color. So again, it feels more exciting to print off and do an action. Just get in the flow, do things your way, and I promise you, you will be much more productive. Number 12 is another organizational hack, and it's something that I think fits into your personal life as well, and that is to print out your memories every single month. So what I like to do at the end of the month is go through my camera roll, or go through, you know, a folder of photos that I've kind of put in the folder each month, which is my free prints folder, and I put my free prints through. Now, if I'm on a budget, I will only do the 45 free prints and then just pay for the delivery. But if I'm feeling a bit, you know, bougie and I've collected more photos than 45, which, guys, by the way, 45 final photos, it's quite hard to hit the 45 mark, but I have had points in some months where I've traveled loads or I've done lots of things and I want to print lots of memories out. Just print them. You will not regret it. Even if you don't store them in a photo album yet, date them and have them printed, because you never know. It's always good to be, you know, savvy with how you store your digital data, but having it printed out is so much nicer. And I started this in the new year and it's been my favorite thing to do. I have about 5 albums now of photos. I have my photography work that I'm really proud of printed, and in an album I have a personal memories folder and like photo album for like silly, candid and friendly photos, and then I have my press trips and travel photo album, which I just adore and I love looking back on. And all my travels are, you know, chronological and organized. It's not a lot to put, you know, 45 photos into an album each month, and by the end of the year you have this incredible reflection and incredible physical copy of all the things that you've done and achieved and places you've traveled to. You could really create it how you wish. You could always do a vision board one, which is something that I'm going to do for next year. I'm going to, in January, use my free prints to start a more physical vision board, because I haven't done a physical vision board in ages, guys, like probably like 2 years. So I think having a physical one is going to be really helpful. But yeah, you can really just go and do whatever you want with free prints. I'm going to link the app below. It's incredible. It's so good value. Like, I honestly, you feel like there's a catch, and there really isn't a catch. Like, it's amazing. You don't have to go to Boots and try and sit and digitally, you know, connect your phone up or anything. Those days are over. Just send all your photos through free prints, and it's incredible. So I honestly could work with them, giving them that sponsor. But yeah, I'm going to hype them up because I think they're incredible. And I really like to have those memories as a physical thing as well. I'll also link my photo album that I love to use as well below. It's from Amazon. It's a little bit expensive. It's about £24, but it is so cute, and it comes in so many different colours. So if you want to get really organised for 2023, or maybe you're thinking about having like a nice coffee table photo album, definitely get the one that I have. Like, it is such good quality. I couldn't recommend it more. But yeah, I really love that way to collect and bring together your memories and moments into one place. Number 13 is on a similar sort of footing, and that is to digitally cull each month. Dedicate an afternoon or a Sunday to go through your phone and delete stupid screenshots, or, you know, when you've had to travel somewhere. Like, I always have a million screenshots of train journeys that I need to take and the tubes I need to get on. Like, I need to sit and do it because I'm a bit guilty myself, but it is one of my resolutions next year to each month sit and delete as many photos as I can, just because you end up hoarding so many photos. Like, I've had my iPhone for just over a year, and I'm so embarrassed to admit I have over 100,000 photos and videos. That's honestly shameful, and this is even more embarrassing. 24,000 of those are screenshots. Like, what the hell am I doing with 24,000 screenshots? Like, there's probably receipts in there, like literal receipts. But I need to go through. Like, that is one of my New Year's resolutions, to just go through my flipping phone. Oh my gosh, it's such a waste of storage. But please just cull your phone. Your December self will be so proud of you for doing it every single month. And honestly, it's one of the things actually I've done a couple of times on long haul flights, when obviously there's no Wi-Fi, but you can access your photo album. I've gone through and deleted stuff, and I know it's a bit sad, like, what a sad little life, Jane, but I actually think it's such a good use of your time to sort and organize your phone. Also, go through your notes. Like, why am I writing poetry at 2 a.m? Like, delete that stuff, honey, or file it away, put it in a Google Doc. Like, you don't need it all in your phone. Like, that's another thing I need to do. I need to completely go through my notes as well, or silly shopping lists and things like that. Just stuff that I no longer need. Cull it, you'll feel amazing. Number 14 is a really fun one, and I say fun because it makes a boring task fun, and that is to habit stack. It's a great use of your time if you can do 2 or 3 things at once. If you can't do 2 or 3 things, just add one more thing to the to-do list, and don't make it too crazy. But one thing that I love to do is listen to a podcast whilst I do the chores. And actually today on the treadmill, I was doing my 12-3-30, and I decided that I was going to pin every single post from the last year to my Pinterest, because I've been majorly slacking and doing that. And it took me the 12-3-30 to do like the majority. I did about half of the year, and I felt so productive just to get those pictures pinned. And it's a task that I've needed to do for ages. I've had no time, in air quotes. I've just, not been bothered to do it. But I did it in my 12-3-30, and by the time I'd finished, I had 2 minutes left of my 12-3-30. I was so proud of myself, guys. And it made the time go so fast. Like, probably the people in the gym were thinking, why on earth is that girl glued to her phone? But the gym was packed and I couldn't do any weights. So I had to be on the treadmill, and do you know what? It paid off. I felt very productive. It was a task I was procrastinating, and it was just a silly small task that I needed to do, and it felt incredible. Habit stacking is going to save you in 2023. It's going to elevate boring tasks. We all have to do chores, we all have to cook, we all have to do these things, we all have to commute to our jobs. Well, not all of us, but sometimes we do. Do something extra in that time that is going to fuel your passion or elevate you in any way. Podcasts for me is where I do the most habit stacking, having something in my ears whilst I'm doing something else. I edit a lot of photography, so I could be watching Netflix in the background, but no, if I'm listening to an educational podcast, something that's going to benefit me, it's going to be so much better for my time and a better use of my time, really. So highly recommend doing that. Guys, we're nearly there. We're at number 15. I promise you, I'm not going to keep you for too long, but number 15 is don't wait for a special occasion to do something, wear something, drink something, eat something. Do it when you can. There is never going to be a special occasion, right? I feel like, without being really, really morbid, you could die tomorrow. And did you get a chance to drink that nice bottle of Moet? No, you didn't. You kept it in your fridge because you thought you'd wait for a special occasion. Make each day a special occasion. Wear your favorite gym gear. Like, I had this weird thing where I would store all my nice gym wear and not wear it. And I'd only shoot pictures in it, and then I'd put it in my drawer. Like, honey, wear the gym gear. I've been wearing my stuff in the gym, and I feel like $1 million when I'm wearing my nice gym wear. Do what makes you feel good. Wear those things. Treat yourself as much as you can, because life is too short. Life is too short not to enjoy the special moments and make the everyday a special occasion. And I said what I said. So drink what you need to drink, eat what you need to eat. This is another thing. People save fancy chocolates for a special occasion and then they go out of date. How sad is that? Eat the chocolates, enjoy it, have fun. Number 16 is slightly different, and again, this is kind of social media based, but you don't need to tell people everything. And I think that kind of does apply to a lot of people. You don't need to explain yourself, and you don't need to reveal your entire life and your entire life experience to every Tom, Dick and Harry, because they do not deserve to know your story. Do you know what I mean? And it took me a long time. It took me a very long time to know this and realize this. And I know it's kind of ironic because I share a lot of my life with you guys, but I don't need to tell you everything, and you don't need to tell me everything either. And that's okay. I feel like in recent years, there's this huge expectation, particularly with people working in social media, that you have to constantly explain yourself, tell your audience and your following where you are, what you're doing, why you haven't been present, or why you've not been feeling well, or whatever. You really don't have to do that. I feel like there is this constant pressure that you need to be and show and share everything. And I think at the beginning of the year, maybe last year as well, I kind of felt like, I've got to share all this stuff in order for people to relate to me and for me to grow, etc., etc. Yes, I feel like there are moments when it feels right, and if you feel comfortable doing it, you can share your story, but you don't have to tell people anything. You don't even have to tell your friends or your family. You just need to do you. I think it's really important that you are setting boundaries in 2023 and just working out, how much do I want to show up? I think in business, and particularly with growing a personal brand, it's very easy to blur the lines with being yourself and actually revealing too much to a point where people actually almost have ammo on you. Do you know what I mean? Without scaring you, but I feel like people just know so much, and it doesn't actually benefit your business. It doesn't benefit your business growth either. So just in 2023, think about, what boundaries do I need to set in order to have a healthy relationship with myself and my business, or myself and my personal brand. That's something I've definitely learned this year. Number 17 is, when things don't go to plan, take it as an opportunity to uncover what direction you might need to go instead. So I think there's always a purpose in the reroute. Sometimes when things don't go to plan, it's not meant to work that way. It's not meant to work out in, relationships or in business developments, ideas. Sometimes the moments where we stall or we don't get the job opportunity or things don't work out, it's meant to happen that way because there's something else better for us. So just accept the reroute and try and avoid the resistance of, forcing a particular plan, because sometimes things turn out better than we had hoped for and imagined. We just can't see that vision yet. So I always like to say to myself and everyone around me, this or something better. It could be this idea that I have in my head, or it could be something even greater that I can't even fathom. So just allow yourself to go along your own journey. Number 18, guys, we're nearly there, is don't put off until tomorrow what can be done today. Now, I feel like a total hypocrite saying this one, but I guess it's a lesson that I've learned. It's never going to be the right time to do something. If something comes to your head and you're like, oh my God, I need to text that person, or oh my God, I need to send that email, I need to do that thing, do it now, because you'll either forget or the time and the moment will pass and you'll miss that opportunity. There's nothing greater than the present moment, and sometimes you have to take action. And I think it does kind of play into that idea that, sometimes we wait for special occasions to do things when the special occasion is now. The time to take action is now. Don't put it off because you'll regret it. You might kick yourself. I've seen things recently with like job applications and things suddenly closing out of nowhere. Just seize the day, like, without being cringe, carpe diem the shit out of your life, and you will not regret those moments where you took action, I promise you. Number 19, it kind of goes back to another point that I made earlier on kind of leading into your creative cravings, but that is to nurture your hobbies and actually really make time for them, because it's so important that you do it. Like things that really light you up. Like for me, I love to collect magazines, and it's something that I've not let waver at all during my life. Like I've kept that hobby so consistent my entire life. I always pick up copies of new magazines. I collect them, I store them, I adore it, and it's something that really lights me up. So just nurture something that feels good to you. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know many people that collect magazines. It's probably a bit weird too, but it's something that I love to do. And don't ever be ashamed or afraid to talk about your hobbies either. Like, I think it's really important, particularly when you're applying for a job or you're trying to stand out, to have those creative hobbies, because it does help you. It shows that you have things about your personality that are outside of the box. And I think in business, people love to see that. So don't ever let that be hidden away, unless it's a really creepy hobby. But I doubt that's going to be happening here. But yeah, I really enjoy collecting magazines. It's something that I love doing. So yeah, I am very proud of it. It's in my Instagram bio, for example. I'm a magazine hoarder. Number 20 is to stay true to yourself and stay sweet. Do you like what I did there, guys? I think just to reiterate the staying sweet legacy, I guess, is that was my sign off when I was being bullied. Like when I created my blog, I wasn't in the greatest of spaces, and I was really trying to act from a place of kindness. And I think sometimes we often act from a negative frequency. It's this kind of idea that if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And that's totally okay. But I think if you stay sweet, if you level up and you reflect back kindness from every situation, there is so much potential to do good with that experience. And to always show up as a kind-hearted person is a really important thing to do. I think even when we don't mean to, we can unintentionally spread bad vibes. If we're not feeling good, if things don't feel like they're going right for us, we can just unintentionally spread those bad vibes around. So I always like to stay sweet and smile. Like a really good example of this is, I'm not really feeling going into London, but I've got to do some things in London for work. It's a miserable commute. Everyone's kind of miserable on the train. I feel like people's energies just rub off on each other, and it's just really low vibrational. So if you can be that one person that smiles when somebody sits next to you on the train, at the end of the day, that could change their entire day and make their entire day pan out differently. So always stay sweet. It's really important, and it's a mantra that I've stuck with for as long as I've created this personal brand. Number 21 is keep track of your achievements. Please, guys, do not throw away your goals lists or your vision boards. I know people pin things on a vision board and maybe take them down, but I create a lot of digital vision boards, and even this year, I think I've created 10 or 11, and the difference in the things that I was pinning at the beginning of the year onto those digital boards versus now, I love to see the growth and the progression, and also how my goals and vision changes throughout the year. You're always going to be coming up with new concepts, and things will take precedent and be more important. So you might take things off the board and put new things on. Just looking back and reflecting on your achievements is really important to do, and I think we're very guilty of neglecting the time to sit in our success. So make sure you do that. Keep track of your achievements. I think next year what I really want to do is do a monthly reflection at the end of the month and write all my achievements down, and then put it all together in a Google Doc or something and go through it at the end of 2023. That is my hope. I'm hoping that I stick to it. But yeah, I think it's really important that you celebrate those moments and really sit in your success. Number 22, to end off the podcast, guys, is have fun and stay in your flow. I think the best thing you can do is just enjoy yourself. Ups and downs are going to happen. It's inevitable. It's life. You wouldn't have good moments without the not so good moments. So stay in your flow, trust your timing, and just enjoy the opportunities and the experiences and the people that life presents to you. I feel like for me, I always attract people into my life that I need to meet, and they shape and shift my journey. And I'm very grateful for that. The highs and the lows. I feel like this year I've met people who have put me on, good footing and opened up new doors for me. But there have also been people who have come into my life to help me reflect or challenge me to grow or make me realize my worth in my own time. Those people are still beneficial to your story. Don't neglect that, and don't feel bad if things don't work out. Just always try to have fun and look back at the year and think about how it shaped you. If you only had good experiences, there would be no real growth. There would be a lot of fun and great opportunities and moments, but sometimes that resistance pushes us to try new things and find the good in life. So I just want to leave you with that, guys, this lighthearted, fun episode. I'd love to know what your 22 lessons are for this year, or any of your lessons. So please do let me know over on Instagram at Staying Sweet Podcast. I'd love to hear from you. If there's anything that you'd love to hear as well for 2023 in the Staying Sweet community, please do let me know. I'm also going to leave a poll on this episode so you can let your creative juices flow. Any particular guests you'd love to also have on the podcast, don't hesitate to let me know in that comment box, or you can send me a private message on Instagram DMs. But as ever, guys, thank you so much for the love and the support and just the adventure that's been 2022 and starting this podcast. I can't wait to see you all in the new year. I can't believe it's the last episode of the year, guys. Have a really incredible start to 2023, and I will see you next year. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to Staying Sweet, the podcast. If you enjoyed listening, please do leave a rate and review, and I will catch you next week for a new episode.